Hello Internet! Today we're going to give a quick rundown for a tubeless setup. Now this is going to involve some key ingredients. Firstly, you will need a mountain bike wheel, obviously with the tape removed. Secondly, we've got our tubeless tape. Now you can use things like Gorilla or duct tape, but for best results, this is the one to go for. You're also going to need the tubeless valve, as well as a load of sealant. Now, if you have your rim, and sometimes whether it's a matte finish or it's carbon, the tape doesn't always want to stick. For that reason, I would say it's worth considering using a bit of electrical tape run in the well. This will help the tape have something to stick to, or you can have a little patch of Gorilla tape just to help you start it. Gorilla tape is also really useful should you ever be a bit naughty and nick your tubeless tape as you're installing or removing a tyre. This can actually work as a little patch. It's not the neatest thing, but it saves you retaping the whole rim. So onto this wheel itself, we're going to do 1.5 turns of tubeless tape, starting just before the valve, going all the way around and finishing after it. This is just going to make sure that over this area, it is double sealed. Whilst installing the tape, we want to ensure that it's tight with no air bubbles. For that reason, it's a good idea to bring the tape back and forth, pulling it on either side. That way it sticks to the well, it's a nice tight fit and is going to stop you having issues later down the line. Then we're going to pierce that tape coming from above the rim. The reason we do it like this is because as we push it up, you can basically lift that tape off the rim before the glue has had a chance to set, and it's exactly the opposite of what we want. Sometimes after puncturing this hole in the tape, for an extra layer of safety, I add a small patch of Gorilla or duct tape. This is just to be an extra line of defense that will stop the tape having any risk of splitting or losing air around the valve. We're then going to fit one side of the tyre, checking the orientation, fit most of the other side of the tyre, and as we get to the last little bit, we're going to glug some sealant in there. Now with the tyre installed, we need to think about inflating it. Now, if this is slightly more difficult, it's just not taking, it can be worth removing that valve core. This is going to let you have a higher rate of airflow, which can be the final ingredient to get it settled and popped up onto the bead. This will then of course mean you've got to reinstall this, which means letting the pressure out. But by then, once the bead is engaged, it should go up easily enough with that valve core installed. If the tyre is going up to pressure, but it's not actually popping out of the well and onto the bead entirely, a good way to spot for this, by the way, is looking for that bead indicator that goes around the sidewall of the tyre. Now, if it's still stuck down in the well slightly, you can let some pressure out and maybe add some bike wash spray or something like that, something that's quite slippy. This will help it overcome the friction to get up into its correct position. And that's it. It really is that simple. Tubeless doesn't have to be painful. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.